Today, I'm at the Tennessee Aquarium. We're going to learn about some lemurs. That's coming up next.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Lemur Forest here at the Tennessee Aquarium. My name is Sarah. I'm waving at you from over here in this side. And we're getting ready to spend about the next 10 minutes with the lemurs, hopefully sharing with you how special they are. If you want to stick around for that, you're welcome to. We're going to have a Q&A here in a little bit also. Or if you need to move on at any time, feel free to do that as well. So lemurs are really one of the world's great treasures. There are over 100 types of lemurs, and they all live on the island of Madagascar. Over here today, in theory, I'm hanging out with a couple of red-ruffed lemurs. Here comes one of them. Josephine and Avior live over here, and they are just waking up for the morning. These guys are called red-ruffed lemurs. Hey, Avior. And over on the other side, I'm also joined by Maggie, and Maggie has a different group of lemurs over there.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. Again, welcome to Lemur Forest. I'm joined this morning by two of our ringtail lemurs. This is a father and son duo. This is son Snickers and his dad Sprite. And as Sarah was saying, these guys are very unique animals. They are primates, just like you and I, but they are very different from monkeys and apes. They're actually in their own special class called prosimians. And one of the things that makes prosimians so unique and special is that when it comes to these guys, the stinkier, the better. So who of you out there has ever felt a dog or cat's nose? You're pretty familiar then with the very cold and wet nature of their noses, right? Well, if you look closely, Sprite and Snickers here have that same cold and wet nose. So do all lemurs. And that's what gives all those animals such a really great sense of smell, which comes in handy for these guys because most of the communicating that they do with each other is through scent. So go ahead and look on the inside of Snickers' wrist here and Sprite's wrist. You see those big dark bald spots? Those are actually scent glands, and they have those all over their body, but those are definitely the most visible. And one of the strongest messages that they're going to send to each other using those scent glands is something called a stink fight. And now they're going to use a stink fight when they are trying to figure out who is going to be in charge. And so what they do in a stink fight is they take their tail and they load it up with all of their scent from their scent glands, and then they'll square off with another lemur, get into aggressive stance, pin their ears back, and then they're just going to wave their tails at each other. A little anticlimactic for us, but if you are a lemur, the stinkiest one wins, and you are now in charge of the group. And believe it or not, in this group, Snickers, the son, has overthrown his dad's Sprite for dominance, and kids rule over here, but over in with Sarah and Josephine, our only female, she doesn't have to fight to figure out who's in charge, does she?
She does not. And this is Josephine right here in front of me. And she is our only female. She is Queen of Lemur, the ladies are automatically in charge. So if we had more than one female, she would have to fight for her spot. But the lowest ranking female is always going to be above any of the males in the group. And there's a good reason that they are so valued. The females are much more likely to be able to see in full color than the males are. And that helps them to find the colorful fruits and flowers that the whole group needs to be able to eat. I brought a little pretend flower out today to show you how good they are at that. You can see her long nose fits right down inside there. And if you look closely, you'll see her long tongue sticking out also. She's getting a little bit of strawberry jam out of this flower this morning. But if this was a real flower, she would be eating sweet nectar. And when she stuck her nose down in there, she would get pollen, or that yellow fuzzy stuff down inside the flowers. She would get that all over her face and spread it from flower to flower while she was eating. So we tend to think about animals that spread pollen and help plants to grow as being teeny tiny animals like bumblebees and hummingbirds. But these guys, the red ruff lemurs, are the world's largest pollinators. So that's an important job. Now over on that side with Maggie, those lemurs help plants to grow also, but they do it in a different way.
Not quite so flowery over here. We like to say on the ringtail side of things that lemur poop is the gift that keeps on giving. So these guys love to eat fruits as well, and when they eat the fruit, they eat everything, seeds and all. And those seeds are pretty tough, and so they're able to pass through the lemur in one piece, unharmed. And so when they go to the bathroom, they are spreading those seeds to new locations, planting trees as they go, and even giving those seeds a nice little pile of fertilizer to help them get started. But nobody appreciates lemur poop quite as much as our radiated tortoises do. And then we do have two tortoises in the exhibit. The one in the back walking around is our female Castellano, and this guy up front finishing off one of the lemur's carrots is our male Grumpy. And you might be wondering why we do have tortoises in our lemurs, but that's because these guys all live in the dry, spiny forest of southern Madagascar. So they're all neighbors out of their natural habitat, and they all love vegetation. Anything green and leafy is one of their favorites. But in the dry season, when all of that green leafy stuff is a little bit harder to come by, the tortoises rely really heavily on lemur poop to help them get through. So they'll eat it, and it fills that nutritional gap for them that they're missing. So a little bit gross for us to think about, but it's super important for the radiated tortoises. But our red ruff lemurs have some tricks up their sleeve to help them out up in the rainforest too, don't they, Sarah?
They do. These guys, you might have noticed while I'm feeding them, have two really big sharp teeth coming out either side of their mouth. And we don't normally think about animals that eat fruits and flowers as having those big sharp teeth, but they do. Oh, she's showing that female dominance we were talking about there, folks, giving Avior a little bit of a run for his money there. So they have those big sharp teeth in order to tear into tough seed pods. So they'll tear into them and then eat the seeds and spread them around in their poop, much the same way that the ringtail lemurs do. If she's done chasing Avior around, I'm going to see if Josephine will come over here and show you one of the ways that they get to fruits and flowers up in the trees. Let's see if she'll do it. There she goes. So these guys are really good at hanging. They have really strong back feet, long fingers and toes, and thick pads on their fingers and toes that help them to grip. But you'll notice when she hangs that way, her tail just hangs there. She's not using it to hold on at all. Lemurs don't use their tails that way. But Maggie can tell you a little bit about what they do use their tails for.
They use their tails for quite a bit, and of course right now Sprite and Snickers are just sitting and not showing off their wonderful tail abilities at all. But I'm sure you've seen these guys bounce around the exhibit during the program, and if you did, I hope you noticed their tails. So they're going to use their tails mostly for balance, and they act like a counterweight when they're hopping from branch to branch, giving them really great balance and really fantastic gymnastic abilities. And maybe he's going to show it off. There you go. So when they're walking, sometimes they'll hold their tail way up over their head, like you just saw, because they also use their tails for communication. So when they walk along the ground, they'll hold their tail way up high over their head like that, and then acts like a flag, so they can all keep track of each other.
truly are one of the world's great treasures. There's that unique way they use smell to communicate, their lady-dominated society, the different ways they help plants to grow, and then of course their awesome gymnastic ability. There really is nothing in the world quite like lemurs. Unfortunately, most lemurs are critically endangered, and they're projected to disappear from Madagascar as early as 2050, which is definitely within our lifetimes. Now, the good news is by coming to the aquarium today, you've already started helping them. When you come to the Tennessee Aquarium and you support us, you support the conservation work that we do. A lot of that happens right here in our backyard in Tennessee, but we're also part of something called the Madagascar Flora and Fauna Group, which is a group on the ground in Madagascar helping people and animals. And we were actually privileged to host their international conference right here in Chattanooga this year. So we had people from all over the world here at the aquarium coming up with ways to help lemurs in Madagascar, and that was very cool.
And if you have any more questions about the conservation work that we do, or any other questions about the lemurs or the tortoises, we would love to answer those, so you can just shout them out. And if not, we want to thank you for spending some time with us this morning, and we hope you have a great day here at the aquarium.
Well, that was a really fun experience, guys, getting to learn about the lemurs. Hope you really enjoyed that. Be sure to check out the other videos on my channel of all cool stuff here at the Tennessee Aquarium. Until next time, this is History Buff TN Photobook signing out, and I'm having a blast, but with biology. See you guys.